some time. Well, as I was introduced a little earlier, I'm Monte Twilley for those of you that may not know me. And I have a story like we all do. And I've been in this town of Baltimore, Maryland, probably maybe about 16 years. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the things I want to talk to the young men a little later, but I was anticipating to be able to speak to both of us. But I just want to share with you a little bit about my story in terms of why it's important for me to understand that success does have a lot to do in terms of how you dress. And just a little bit, I didn't always look like this, particularly about 16 years ago when I came here, prior to coming here. In fact, you all probably, not only would you not have invited me, you probably, those people that you see on the street in the city of Baltimore that you sort of want to roll your window up if they're trying to get at you, well, I know about that. That's part of my story. So the reason why that I'm here, because I was homeless. I didn't have a place to stay. I went through the Salvation Army, and I've been here, as I said, about 16 years. Actually, I'm a former chairman of one of the Salvation Army organizations, so I'm telling you, I've come a long way in just that 16 years. Prior to that, real quickly, I used to wear suits, and this was much of my background. My background basically is into thirds. I'm 59 years old, and I thank God that He's allowed for me to be able to see this day. Amen. Basically, my career as it relates to success is threefold. Probably about a third of that or so is in the military. Obviously, I had to stand, tight. I had to salute. I had to ensure that everything was pristine at all times. And also, I'm a former Boy Scout and Cub Scout, so I've known about dressing for success and all those things that you are teaching here at the church. And then secondly, I'm a former public relations person. I also have had a considerable amount of experience in journalism. So just like many of your aunts or your uncles or whatever, I emulated much of the people in my family. They always liked to dress in style. But another part of my life, I seem to have lost that as a result of me getting involved in crack cocaine. I spent about 10 years plus in that, had a lot of false starts, etc. So that's what brought me here. And gentlemen, I want to share with you those times when I was going, we'll talk a little bit in the room, when I went through my addiction, I absolutely did not look like I was dressing for success. I didn't care. I didn't have a place to stay many times. So we all make choices, but thank God that we have an opportunity to be able to get back on track. And I'm so glad that we've got the scriptures that we've had for the day that the sister talked about. And one thing that we're going to talk about when we go into the room with the men, young men, is, are you a sagger? Are you a sagger? Well, what is a sagger? That is one terminology they use for people that have their pants dropped down. Now, we saw those pictures. But let's be realistic about it, as you see. Let's keep it real. Let me tell you about the young man in the middle on that picture. That young man, not only would I not go to him for some advice or encourage me, but I probably wouldn't even let him in my house. Definitely, I don't have any kids, but I definitely wouldn't let him talk to my daughter. And secondly, let's talk about the young lady that was in the center of the picture, of those that we had. Well, realistically, not only did she give the impression that she might be a little loose, but she might make a brother lose her religion and say the wrong thing. Because it is important of the perceptions that we have, and particularly in our African American community. It is so important that sagging is something that we know that came out of the prison system. Well, why? Well, because a lot of times you might commit suicide, or either you might try to strangle another inmate or whatever. So they took their belts away from them to keep down violence and other things like that as far as suicide. And so even though that is highly emulated in our communities, particularly the African American community, let me tell you something. For those of us that maybe have had some setbacks, whether it's prison, whether you've been raped, whatever the case may be, it may have been a pit stop in your life, but young man, I'm here to tell you that it's not your destiny. That what I went through with crack cocaine, that it was a pit stop that I made, and I thank God that I experienced that. Not only has it allowed for me to remain humble, but I'm more clear about what my destiny is. I've got to fulfill my destiny. And so when we go into the room, we're going to share some things, particularly as it relates to dress to success. But I just wanted to stop by to tell you, as this lady had shared with us, that yes, you are here. There's a reason for us to be here. And whatever great place to be, but yet be in the house of God. Amen. Because that is true. Jesus Christ, that is my hero. And not only is he my hero, but he was my natural example. That even though that I might let you down, and I've let people down over the years, I'm only a man. I'm not human. But Christ has never let me down, and he truly is my natural example. So we'll share more with you. With that, I'm really going to thank you for your time. My time is up.